Here
and
we
we were
are.
talking about Wes Anderson.
Here we are back in 1985 with Blaine Ziglar of the band Blaine Ziglar, and we're talking about movies today. What is it that you have here that Asteroid City?
Yes, this is the new Wes Anderson film. You know, like
Did you see it?
stylistically, you know.
Have you
All
seen
the
it?
visuals are a work of art. Oh yes, I saw it.
I love Jeff Goldblum in that movie.
Yes,
He played the alien.
he did play the alien, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Just through all the different starship captains.
Is that the same as this? Or are they two different things?
No, too. This is probably the best picture I've ever seen of George Lucas. Usually he don't take good pictures.
Don't show me movies that you guys know nothing about. This is about remembering movies you've actually seen and where you were at the time and all that stuff.
Right.
So
When?
Wild Eric here with my friend Blaine Ziglar, and we are in the 1980s right now. We're in the only standing video store in the area, Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. It's called Video Stop, and we're going to stop and we're going to reminisce today. Like, back in the day, follow me, video stores used to be more than just a place you go get a video. It was a town square, a place where you'd run into your friends and say, hey man, what about little Jennifer Lawrence over there? Are you dating her still? What's the word on the new thing? And videos, like movies, can bring you back to a place in time. Like something like Children of the Corn I saw as a child, and all I remember is somebody being stabbed from the back and blood gushing out of their back, and I never saw the actual movie, but that's what I remember because I was so scared of it.
I have to say, I believe the band Korn replaced all of my memories of Children of the Corn. So I think of Children of the Corn,
okay.
I think of Korn, but I do remember watching the movie.
But the outer walls for the younger kids are really for the newer releases. But when you dove into the inner things here, you'd run into movies like this right here, The Abyss, okay? And I remember being a child, The Abyss, there was a series of underwater movies. Do you remember that?
Oh yes.
And The Abyss, I believe, was this the one with directed by James Cameron? I think so. Where they're underwater and there's like aliens under there, and they have this special liquid that you can drink and breathe underwater. And then his wife dies, and he had to bring her back to life. And he's like, "You bitch, come back to life." I mean, this is true, you know. But that's what I'm saying. The older movies are usually, come on, follow me, are usually on the inside. Now this is the family section. Now, if anything jumps out at you, Blaine, tell a story about it. Like, you know, because I've seen so many movies, you know, just on a shelf alone, I can say I've seen a lot of them. You know, I never did see Tin Cup. See, there's a lot of great things here. Like, I love this actress, Helena Bonham Carter from Harry Potter. She was one of my favorites. Okay, can you pause it?
Ready.
Here's one. First of all, arguably the greatest actor that ever lived, Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. What did you think of this movie?
Oh, it is a masterpiece on several different levels. You know?
I'll tell you what, I saw this movie, I'm going to be honest, it really just made me want to go back and watch Gangs of New York. Because Bill the Butcher and that movie with Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, you know, and this overall story, but he's kind of like almost a similar character in this movie.
See, but you're talking about two different directors.
Actually, yeah.
Talking about it because Paul Thomas Anderson, like, I think honestly I like his films better than.
Well, what's he known for? Because I'm not familiar with Paul Thomas Anderson. I've seen this movie. My favorite part's the end. You're talking about the milkshake, and he beats him with a bowling pin.
Right. I can't remember the names of the films now. Oh, he did Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, yeah, it was Sandler.
Yeah.
I thought that was, you know, I've never seen it. I've always heard it's good, though.
Oh, yeah. Great film.
It's funny how many movies we have seen and haven't seen, you know?
Yes.
Let's see what else we got here.
Just like I was telling the store, and this is right across the street from my dad's, so like I go over there every other weekend, and like my main thing on Saturdays, I just wait for whatever movie I had to see, and sometimes I wait for 2 or 3 hours just for another copy of a film to come in. And I always considered myself the best at doing that. Nobody else had that much patience, you know, or maybe
back in the day, there was only one copy, and you had to fight for it, get on a reserve list, or be the first person there.
Oh yeah.
There's actually an episode of the Ninja Turtles where they're waiting for the Snow White and the Seven Samurai, and they swing in through the window or through the door right as the video store opens, and they're the first ones to get it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was a thing back then.
It was a thing. People knew about it. In the 80s, there was a struggle. But eventually, they got more copies, and then went to DVD and even more copies of that. But what I'm saying is like so many different movies in this place. Remember, if this is Video Stop in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina.
Oh, you were talking about Jewel. Did you know Jewel is in this movie?
I heard she's an actress. But, oh wow, look at this. Jewel as June Carter Cash and Matt Ross as Johnny Cash. Ring of Fire.
Nobody's ever heard of Matt Ross. I have no
No,
idea.
we all saw the one with Are you still recording?
With Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, you stopped?
You said stop, video stop, and I said,
No, the name of the store
I know.
is...
Yeah, I know. I realized that after you said it, and I stopped.
Hang on. All right, go ahead and start it again.
No, we should talk about that. Hit start. Okay, so here we are, a Video Stop here in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. Me and the lady just watched this movie, The Prestige, not so long ago. It's directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine, and David Bowie as Nikola Tesla. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it.
Oh, it's a great movie.
I mean, it's a puzzle of a movie. They're always like going to the next level, and you're wondering what's going on.
Somewhat based on true stories.
I think some of it's based on truth. I mean, Nikola
derived
Tesla,
off truth.
derived off
Yeah.
truth. But we just watched that one, ironically enough, and that's reminded me of just a few days ago. But as Stacy just pointed out, there's a movie here, the Darjeeling Limited by Wes Anderson. It's got Adrian Brody, it's got Owen Wilson. I love this movie, and that's actually what it says on the cover there. I love this movie.
Yeah, he recycles his cast a lot, which is actually a good thing,
Yeah.
because they're used to working with one another.
This movie takes place in India. And a lot of people don't know this, but there's a companion piece to this movie that's 15 minutes long, only available on YouTube. So I think it's like a special feature or something, with Natalie Portman playing this character, which is Jason Schwartzman, his girlfriend. And it's a very touching scene. So anybody who likes this movie and hasn't seen that scene, check it out. So let's keep on moseying down. Stacy does not want to be on camera, but she's going to talk about the Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. Great movie. But better than that, it speaks to a time that everybody who's an 80s fan feels nostalgic for. A time where you could get on your bike and ride anywhere and meet your friends and hang out. But even better than the movie and the cast is the soundtrack.
Oh, yes.
The soundtrack,
little sister.
the soundtrack to this movie is off the chain.
It is, but I never understood why anybody would want some other band to do a Doors song, Like,
Well, I don't know.
Oh, isn't there an LA Woman cover on there?
no, People Are Strange.
People are strange.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no idea who actually did that version of it, but
It's
probably some
it's
popular
just a
band
great
name.
movie. And
But-
you talk
but yeah.
about 80s movies.
Well, my favorite part is just like, Michael, you're eating maggots.
Right.
Those are maggots, Michael.
And then-
Keith Sutherland is like trying to convince him he's eating maggots.
And it was very convincing.
And that dude, whoever it was who played the lead character,
Yeah.
like that was the end of his career after that.
No,
Like,
he went on to play in a couple more movies.
what are they called?
Sleeper
Oh yeah.
and
This is
there's-
ridiculous. Just filming your hands. You sure you don't want to be a star yet?
I don't want to.
Okay.
It's okay.
You'll pay extra. We can send you a picture of Stacy.
No, he did another a movie with Jennifer Jason Leigh, and they played.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they played undercover investigators. They both got addicted to drugs. Oh, this is a good one too.
Oh, that's such a great
You
movie,
recommended this one,
dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I
Lighthouse.
saw it.
Yeah, man.
That was amazing. Willem Dafoe and
Yeah.
Robert
Was
Pattinson, directed by Robert Eggers, and it's amazing. Watching that movie in the theater, it was black and white, and if you saw it in the right theater, you just felt like you were part of the black and white. And it's such great acting. It was one of those surrealistic plot lines. And how did you feel about it, Blaine?
Yeah, like, I couldn't say enough good things about it. I was telling other people.
The mermaid scene captured every fantasy I had about a mermaid. Because I always wondered how that would work. How would you make love to a mermaid? But they showed you. And I don't want to necessarily promote that, but it is a movie I watched.
Love making little mermaids.
Yeah, because that me and Blaine are
I'm
Christians.
actually really scared of mermaids, to tell you the truth, man.
All right, I'm gonna cut it. Seeing this new Kelsey Grammer movie here. It's called The
Well, that
God
would be good.
Committer or God Committee, And we're
No,
just having a
don't worry
conversation
about
that
That's
he
not the issue.
could be
Gas
he's
is
a
not the
Christian now,
issue.
Kelsey Grammer.
I believe so. Yep.
But it's
See, when you walk
okay.
through a video store, there's so many different things that are jumping out at you. You
No.
realize there's a lot of movies you haven't seen, and a lot of new releases that you're not aware of.
I'm gonna deal with
And that's something more of an awareness you had back in the day that you don't really have now. You know, The Northman. The Northman is a movie done by the same guy who did The Lighthouse, Robert Eggert.
Oh, dude.
I'll meet you there at 5 o'clock.
You know anything about St. Vincent?
All right. Bye-bye.
You mean the movie with
Have you ever heard
Bill-
of no,
Bill
no,
Murray?
no, no? Have you ever heard of the
Eric,
musician
you don't
St.
happen to
Vincent?
have any zip ties in your car, do you?
No?
Well, if you ever
I just
heard of-
have a machete. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Now Carrie Brownstein.
I know her in. Okay.
Okay. Well, anyway,
The Nowhere.
she's shooting this movie about the musician St. Vincent, and like this is kind of like a mockumentary type thing, but like it's done so well, and there's no other movie that I've seen about this topic that's actually done this way. Like,
So what's the topic exactly? It's called The
It's
Nowhere
just-
In.
yeah, it's just following St. Vincent around. I mean, Carrie's shooting a documentary film, and she's trying to get the best shots and everything, you know, and just throughout this whole film, St. Vincent changes her whole persona and becomes like exactly who her image is portrayed to be, you know, like she's becoming a more extreme version of herself.
Right.
And yeah, man, like it's funny, it's very artistic, and very entertaining. She's a great musician.
Cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. It's a Nicolas Cage movie. It's just called The Retirement Plan. Is he like an old wrestler or something? What's look at the back. read the back out loud for us, Blaine.
Caught up in a criminal enterprise, Ashley and her young daughter turn to her estranged father, Matt, Nicolas Cage, for help. Retired and living a beach bum's life in the Caymans, her dad's secret past is revealed as the mob tracks them down on the island.
Sold.
It's highly entertaining.
Here at Video Stop at Pilot Mountain.
Cage lets his freak flag fly.
That's
Woo!
right.
All right.
Well, I know where I'm going to get Nicolas Cage movies from now on.
Yay.
We going? People often mistake me for Steven Seagal, but this is one of his movies that was pretty much marking the beginning of the end of his career. It was a great movie called Under Siege, where he played the cook in the Navy, and there was a battleship that was overtaken. I believe it was overtaken by Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones. And at the end of the movie, I just remember Steven Seagal shoving his thumbs in Tommy Lee Jones's eyeball sockets and ripping out his eyeballs. And everyone in the theater was like, "Oh!" And then all throughout the movie, Steven Seagal, well, in the beginning, he's stuck in the kitchen. And they got him tied up. He keeps him screaming out. He's like, "Get my pies out of the oven! Get my pies out of the oven!" Anyway, there was an Under Siege 2. He was on a train. It was good too, but after that, his movies started to decline and everything, and then he became kind of like, nobody took him serious anymore. People questioned whether his martial arts were real, but
Did you know people look at him like he's a god? Like people worship him. There are people out there that worship Steven Seagal.
where do they live?
I don't know. I think they're spread far away. They're not allowed to
Okay, so
congregate
here's
together.
another Hollywood tragedy. Liam Neeson. I love Liam Neeson. He's a great actor, but that's the problem. He's a great actor doing the same movie over and over again.
Right. If somebody says be like Liam Neeson, they know exactly what they're talking about.
He used to be an actor, and now he is just like signed a contract where he only can make the same movie over and over again, where he's just vengeance and killing people. It's it's ridiculous, So this is one of my favorite movies of all time, Highlander. If you've never seen it, it's terrific. The soundtrack is done by Queen, starring Christopher Lambert. This is the director's cut. I've never seen the director's cut, but I have seen the director's cut of Part 2, which makes it a completely different movie, and it's terrific. Remember, Sean Connery is in these movies too, and that's really what inspired me as a youth to be more like Sean. But such great things. I remember I worked at the airport in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I had a friend named Kwame, and he said, "Have you seen the movie Unfaithful?" He asked me, "Have you ever been unfaithful?" I was like, "No." But this movie is Richard Gere and Diane Lane, and Diane Lane is
I've
just
seen it. She's beautiful.
beautiful. In this movie, he is faced with his wife cheating on him and what that turns him into. And he actually has to kick some ass and murder. So
he kills a gerbil.
He does. He kills a gerbil, and he rolls him up and throws him into he rolls him up in a carpet and throws him into a landfill somewhere.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. But like I said, movies will take you back and they will remind you where you've been. Funny enough, here's the Mummy series. I've never seen any of these movies, but I hear they're good. What do you think, Blaine? Were they
It
good?
was good. I saw it at the drive-in with my family back in the day. It was very good.
Mm. And you think you've seen a lot of movies, but you really haven't. I have. You know what? This is Anthony Hopkins. And Colin Farrell. I love Colin Farrell. What a great actor. In Bruges is a great movie. Colin Farrell's in that. I loved him in that. And also, what was it called? The Banshees of Inisherin. Great movie. So Anthony Hopkins and Colin Farrell. I just saw an Anthony Hopkins movie a couple days ago where he played Sigmund Freud. But this is a movie called Solace. How do you stop a killer that can read your mind? And I have no idea what this movie's about, but it says Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in it, which is the guy who plays Negan, and it's a gripping tale of a brilliant psychic and the serial killer that stays one step ahead of him. Interesting stuff. I wonder who plays the psychic. Is it Anthony Hopkins or is he the killer yet again? So yeah, that's a good segment. I think we could stop it there. For whatever reason, I missed City Slickers 1 and 2. I don't know why. I've never seen them.
It's a good respite from reality.
Yeah. But that's why sometimes you need all these movies out in front of you to know what you've seen, what you haven't seen, to have ideas. Sometimes you're at home and you're like, you have a lot more ideas walking through a store.
I tell you, have you ever seen Gia? That movie was so depressing to me.
That's what Angelina Jolie, right?
Yeah.
No.
I don't like seeing movies where people die of sexually transmitted diseases. Not fun.
Sometimes you're looking for a pick-me-up, and you got to be careful what movie you go into, because at the end, I wanted to watch the Jesus movie yesterday, The Chosen, which is actually a series, and it was great and everything, but they left you on a downer. It was a 3-part, they had 3 episodes, and the 3rd episode, at the very end, it was like the biggest downer ever. And you were like, really? I gotta go home and eat my dinner after this? It's not gonna even digest right.
I have no consolation with this, you know?
So you really have to be careful what you watch, because even if it's a Christian thing, because it may ruin your mood for the night,
Oh yeah, man. You gotta be very careful.
And then you blame your friend. You made me watch this. You're the one that put me in this mood. Peter Dinklage in Cyrano. Amazing. I love, musicals, and I gotta say, out of the recent musicals that have come out, that's probably one of the better ones, where I can tell you the new Wonka was absolute trash.
The new Wonka. There's a brand new one?
Yeah, where it's about the prequel of Wonka. And it just, the music is nowhere as good as in Cyrano. Heaven is Where I Fall, I believe, is one of the best songs in the movie. It's also a great love story, too. Peter Dinklage does a great job in this movie, too. But, yeah, there's that.
Oh, have you ever seen this? Everything Everywhere All at Once.
You know what? I walked out of that movie.
When
they started hammering...
it's a whole lot to it, but,
dude,
seriously.
They were putting sex toys in their butt, and that made them be able to go through the next dimension.
Yeah.
And that's where I draw the line.
Well, alright. It's quirky and all that stuff, but, it's metaphysical, you know?
There were some cool elements to it, okay? I love Michelle Yeoh, but overall the direction was too perverse for my particular liking.
I didn't see anything any more perverse than...
Look, if you hammer something into your butt and it makes you go into another dimension, that's not the movie for me.